Hi everyone and welcome back to the next diecast. For today's video I'm going to be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale SRT Viper GTS made by Maisto. So you can find this model today for between like $25 and $40 depending on which site you buy it from online, such as Amazon or Diecast Model Wholesale and what have you. These are also pretty common to find at wholesale clubs like Sam's Club, Costco, and BJ's for usually around like $15, which is pretty good for this model especially. You can find it in this really cool red with the black interior and the gunmetal wheels, and it also comes in like a bright metallic green, which is actually called snakeskin green on the real car, with the same interior and the same wheels. And Maisto also made this model in black in the past. I don't know if they still make it in that color or not, but they're still pretty easy to find on all kinds of sites and everything like that. So let's go ahead and get into the detail of the model here. We'll start up here with the front. Maisto did a fairly good job with these headlights. There's actually no pegs to be seen in them, and the bulbs are done in this kind of like chrome, so it almost looks like they're turned on from a distance. And the black background looks good as well. Lenses are a bit thick, I would say, and there are kind of these gaps you can see between the hood and the light and like the bumper and everything like that. But from a distance, it's really not that bad. From certain angles, though, you can kind of see it. Let's move this over a little bit. This badge in the center here looks really good. It has the Viper snake on it. It is painted on. It's not a sticker or anything like that. I like how they did like the silver look to it and everything. The lower grille here does look a bit cheap. It's doesn't have like an actual mesh in it. It's kind of like a textured mesh pattern. It looks okay from a distance though, and it is black on the real car. It's not just, they didn't just like not paint it or anything like that. These hood scoops on the side here, these intakes on the bumper, those are the hood scoops there. These intakes on the bumper here are actually functional. If you like wave your finger back there, you can actually see it. You can actually see the tire a little bit too, which is kind of cool. They're a nice touch. Maisto doesn't often do like functioning like intakes on their cars. And this hood scoop here, speaking of hood scoops, this is actually functional as well. You can even see the little Viper logo on the inside of the engine there. These grills here, while they are separate plastic pieces, they aren't really done like in a realistic way. They look pretty good, but if they were done maybe within like a more realistic looking mesh pattern, they would look better. They do have like a textured mesh though, which is good enough, I would say. Pin quality, I would say, is very good on this model in particular. It's nice and smooth throughout. There's no rough areas or chips or anything like that. I love the bright red that they did. The Viper came in like a darker metallic red. It would have been even cooler if Maisto chose that color. But the bright red, I think, looks great with these wheels and everything. In terms of the side, we'll look at the wheels here. Maisto did an excellent job with these wheels. They've really nailed like the gunmetal color to them that are on the real car. And the discs and calipers look good as well. The discs don't spin, of course, like most Maistos, but they are fairly well detailed. And the calipers look great in red. They actually match like the red paint on the car. But the wheels look amazing, even from a distance. If you display it like that, looks awesome. And they really do look good with the green and the black versions too. These are probably some of the best wheels that Maisto's done, I would say. They just look great. GTS badge right there. That's on both sides of the car, painted on nicely, I would say. Turn signals look a bit fake because they're just kind of painted on, but then again, they're very small, so it would be kind of hard to make it into a separate plastic piece. Gaps here aren't that bad. The ones here are a bit worse though. These intakes here, they aren't quite functional, but they look like they are because of like the shadow effect that you see in there, but they look good either way. These side exhaust pipes look great. Maisto made them look like they were hollowed out by painting the insides black, and I do like that. And the chrome actually looks good too. The mirrors are plastic, but they're very sturdy. They're not loose at all. They're not going to fall off anytime soon. And this you see back here is actually metal on the rear deck lid, which is cool. Moving along to the back of the car. Maisto did a nice job with this kind of carbon fiber texture back here. It looks like real carbon fiber too. And that texture continues onto the taillights, which look excellent. No pegs in them, and the centers are painted silver. This badge back here should actually be like a separate like kind of light, but Maisto just kind of did like a silver outline. It doesn't look the best, but it looks okay from a distance, especially. There's a Viper license plate back here. Exhaust pipes, which are on the side, not in the rear. But down here they have this like kind of the same black textured mesh effect that they have on the front of the car. This gas cap looks nice, and if you look close, it actually says Viper on it. Hard to see with this camera and this lighting, but Maisto, I think, did a good job with that effect on there. Rear deck lid does open. Not much to see on the inside of the trunk here. There is some dust. There we go. That's a little bit better. It's not really textured or anything like that. At least the piece in here isn't loose or anything like that. And Maisto did fully paint the underside of this. There's no liner or anything, but at least they actually painted it instead of leaving it like as an underspray. So that's nice to see. You can kind of peek in on the interior there a little bit too, which is cool. Engine detailing. The hood's very heavy and it doesn't really stay open anymore, so I'll just have to hold it up like that. Not the best looking engine. It's just kind of done in just one like plastic mold, which is what Maisto did a lot of in like the last like 5 or 6 years. A lot of their models have had these kind of like one piece engine designs. It looks okay from a distance, and even up close, at least they color in some spots. Like this red here is actually like a metallic red, and the silver here is like a matte silver, and there is a Viper badge on either side. But other than that, there's not really much to see in here in terms of detailing. It's like very flat and everything like that. It does say Viper down here, and I think that might be a separate piece, but it's kind of hard to tell. And the underside of the hood they did fully paint, which is nice to see. Could use a bit more detailing on the engine here, but again, you can find this model for like $15. So for that, I would say it's a pretty good engine, but for like 30, 40 bucks, it's just an okay engine, I would say. It does look neat when you have it open though and display it like that at least, which is nice. We'll close that up. This has the clamshell hood like the 1990s Viper GTS had. They actually stopped making the real Viper in 2017, which is a bit sad. They might actually bring it back though at some point apparently, but we'll see about that, and hopefully that does happen. Nice looking seats on the interior here. They have a leather pattern and texture to them, so when you run your finger on them, they look and feel great. They do a nice job with the Viper logo, or the Viper inscription on the centers of the headrests here, and that like kind of metal effect with that silver. There are seat belts. You can't really see them that well, but they are there. Maisto doesn't usually include them in cars that you can't really see them in. The seat belt receptacles look good as well. Flooring doesn't really have a texture to it, but you can see the nice leather pattern on the dashboard from this angle very well. It looks like the real leather that's on the actual dashboard. There's a GTS logo painted on there. Door panels don't really have that much to say. The buttons are there, but they aren't really colored in or anything. At least the door handles and locks are painted on, which is nice to see. And they have that same texture that the dashboard has. All the buttons, it's kind of hard to see, but from this angle it looks okay. All the buttons in the center console, the few that are there, or in the center stack, I should say. The few that are there, they look really good. They're painted on properly, and the GPS screen's actually turned on. That shifter and parking brake are actually separate pieces, which is another nice touch. And the steering wheel also looks really good. It has like the leather pattern to it. It has painted on buttons, and also that GTS badge in the center there, or the Viper badge, I should say. Gauge cluster looks pretty good. It is just a sticker, but you can't really tell that it's a sticker from a distance. Maisto painted the pedals silver to simulate that brushed aluminum look, and they really do look good, especially in this like kind of dark looking interior. They kind of like add some light to it. Overall, I would say they did a pretty decent job with this interior. On the undercarriage, not really anything to see. They don't even do a chrome exhaust system. It's just kind of like a black effect down there. So yeah, not really too much to see down there. You do get full suspension, if I forgot to mention. Good suspension, I might add, and full steering as well. Overall, Maisto did a really good job with this model. I think in terms of the 2013 through 17 SRT Vipers, or Dodge Vipers, because they started calling them the Dodge Viper again after 2014. This is probably the only model you can get that has like all opening features on it in 1/18 scale. That company called MR Collection, they do make like a resin model for like hundreds of dollars. No opening features on that one, but they do have it in all different colors and everything like that. But for a budget model Viper, this would look great next to like even like the Auto Art Vipers. This would still look good next to their like 06 Viper. Maisto also made like the 96 Viper GTS, and so did Brago, so they would look good with this. especially like the light green version of this too. Overall, I would say it's a good model, and if you want to add one to your collection, by all means, go ahead and get one. You can find it all over the internet because it's still being made, and also at various like wholesale clubs as well. I hope this helps. Please feel free to leave any comments below on the video. Be sure to like and subscribe as always, and be sure to follow my Instagram page, Nick's Diecast page, which is all lowercase and no spacing. Thanks for watching.